It is now my pleasure to invite my friend, a wonderful, beloved congregant, a teacher here at Har HaShem, so many wonderful things, to invite you up, Roberta, to share with us and teach us. And you can come right over here.
I was sort of hoping you were going to forget about me. Good Shabbos, everyone.
Bring that microphone a little closer to yourself.
So this Shabbat, once again, we read Achrei Mot. I have decided not to talk about Achrei Mot because it's really a hard one, and it's kind of a cop-out. But don't be disappointed, because tomorrow at Torah study, Ira Greschler, who's right here, he will be leading Torah study, and you will be talking about Achrei Mot, correct? Thank you. He says, for those online, he says yes, he promises. So tonight, I want to talk about the difference between happiness and joy. Several weeks ago, I was invited to have coffee with some of our regular Torah study members who do this pretty regularly, and everyone is welcome. And Sherry was there too. So they were having a very deep conversation about the difference between happiness and joy. And of course, they were very eloquent and wise and clear, but I still didn't quite understand it. I didn't quite understand the difference. So I thought, let me just dig in a little bit to that for myself. What does that mean? So I turned to Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, because that's what I do when I have a question often. And he says, Rabbi Sachs of blessed memory says, Simcha is joy shared. It is not something we experience in solitude. Happiness is an attitude to life as a whole, while joy lives in the moment. Happiness is something you pursue, so happiness is something you pursue, but joy is not. It discovers you. It has to do with a sense of connection to other people or to God, and I would add to nature, perhaps. It is the exhilaration we feel when we merge with others. It is, as Rabbi Sachs says, the redemption of solitude. Or, as J.D. Salinger says, happiness is a solid and joy is a liquid. It's kind of cool too, I thought. So many years ago, when Bill, who's over here, my husband, we were newly married. He was in graduate school. I was working on campus. And I guess I was just taking a break, and I was walking through campus, and there he was, right in front of me. And I felt like such joy to see my husband, who I see every night and every morning. So it was a little strange. I didn't quite know why I felt such joy, but maybe it was the delight in the surprise of it. Maybe it was what New York Times columnist David Brooks writes about, and he says, joy comes when your heart is in another, and you realize there is magic in the world. I practiced this last night and I got teary, so I'm gonna try not to do that. You can't create the magic intentionally, but when you are living at that deep, affectionate level, according to David Brooks, it sometimes just combusts within you, and he calls this a blaze of joy. So both Rabbi Sachs and David Brooks think that joy cannot be summoned. But I disagree. I can do that, right? I disagree. I think joy can be summoned, and it can be summoned right here, with you on Shabbat. So this is the part I actually got teary when I was doing this last night, so wish me luck here. So walking into the sanctuary on a Friday night, and being greeted by Estelle Miller, of blessed memory, whose whole being exuded joy upon seeing me, and also probably you too. And I'm feeling that love from Estelle and being kissed by Estelle, and how else can I describe that but a blaze of joy? And listening to Holly, and singing together, L'cha Dodi, and Rabbi's sighs. Did I get that right? and I hope he's not watching, and his chuckles and his wisdom, and those lemon cakes that we used to eat before Andrew banned sugar, out of love for us, of course. So, the rest of the week, it might be devoted to NPR and CNN and the New York Times, the horrors and challenges of the world, the petty annoyances of work and school. But on Shabbat, we can lose ourselves in a few hours of joy. The author Karen Walrond, in her book, The Light Maker's Manifesto, How to Work for Change Without Losing Your Joy, says, activism has a rhythm to it, an ebb and a flow. That's the natural order of things. The tide comes in and out, the seasons change, we inhale and exhale. Everything has a rhythm. She writes that we must carve out time to find joy and gratitude, because that's what reminds us of what we're fighting for. She tells us we have to tap into joy and gratitude and appreciation and laughter and beauty. We have to do that, or else, she asks, what are we fighting for? And for me personally, I might say, how can I get out of bed in the morning if there's no joy? Or, as one of my bar mitzvah students said recently, if there's no joy, what's the point of living? My 11-year-old bar mitzvah student, I have to add. So here's a question for you all. You can tell me later. Is it appropriate to speak of joy just one day after Yom HaShoah? So once again, I looked to Rabbi Sachs, and he wrote, we are here, we are alive. We are among others who share our sense of jubilation. And yes, we do not know what tomorrow may bring. And yes, we are surrounded by enemies. And yes, it was never the safe or easy option to be a Jew. But when we focus on the moment, this moment, allowing ourselves to dance, sing, and give thanks, when we do things for their own sake and not for any other reward, when we let go of our separateness and become a voice in the holy city's choir, then there is joy. Toward the end of his life, Beethoven composed the Ninth Symphony, and he decided there should be voices. I just learned this recently, that the Ninth Symphony was the first choral symphony in the West. And of course, you all know what the poem was, right? The Ninth Symphony is set to Ode to Joy. Ode to Joy. And Rabbi Sachs says that Judaism is an ode to joy. He says, like Beethoven, we have suffered, yet we never lacked the religious courage to rejoice. He says a people that can know insecurity and still feel joy is one that can never be defeated, for its spirit can never be broken, nor its hope destroyed. Joy, says Rabbi Sachs, is the ability to celebrate life in this moment, knowing that whatever tomorrow may bring, we are here today, under God's heaven, in the universe God made, to which we have all been invited as guests. So that is what I have to share with you this Shabbat. Good Shabbos, everybody.